Hello, welcome. I am Whitney. This is my channel. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay. These are general messages. Okay. So they are not personal. If you want a personal message, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. You can always message me, email me, and we can get your personal reading started. Okay. Very excited for the holiday readings. They're amazing. I've got this spread going on right now. So always remember, for entertainment purposes only, they are general. They're not going to resonate in every path. And we do have to give an analogy. So always remember, you can change the sex around if you want, and you can change the characters around. It's all for, it's all just for your interpretation, I guess, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So there's something bothering me. It's been bothering me just before I sat down to do this reading. So I'm not really sure what the heck the energy is about today, but I almost feel like maybe they don't want me to do this reading, but this is going to be something that you or someone you're dealing with, okay? So let's do the main theme here for the collective. Social media. First card out. And then we got the marijuana card. And then we have Krampus. Krampus in reverse. I feel like something good is going to go down by Christmas. Okay. And somebody could be looking at your social media. Okay. They could maybe you smoke weed, or you're just fucking really wicked chill kind of person. And they want to come by your city. They want to check you out. Something like that. By Christmas, you might hear from this person, or just after Christmas, you might hear from them. Something to do with your social media. Okay, so why is this coming through today? Moon card. Can't quite see it yet. We can't quite see it yet. Because the truth looks like a lie? Truth looks like a lie right now. Okay. Or the truth is hiding? The truth is hiding? Someone's keeping something from you? Maybe that's what it is. They're keeping this from you right now. They don't really want you to know the truth. Okay, so what's the past? The guilt trip. Okay. Somebody guilted you in the past, made you feel bad about something, and that's why they don't want to step forward just yet. What's the present? Assumptions. I just heard they're assuming the worst. Because they guilt tripped you so bad in the past that they're assuming you don't want to hear this truth. But you're so chill and you're so relaxed. That's why they're like, I really feel like this person is fighting their head. Okay, these assumptions are making them look like an ass. Okay, people should not assume the answer to something, right? Or the hidden knowledge about a person. Like, trust me, there's so much more to people, and there's more to people than you will ever discover. There's more to people than they will ever reveal. Okay, so what's the future? Okay, we got the volcano card with synchronicities. So their third eye is just going to start blowing up, I think, with these synchronicities. They're just going to be lining up with things. Okay, and they're still telling themselves you do not want the truth, or they don't want to give you the truth. And like their future, okay, their very near future is lining up with things that it's gonna for some reason make them explode. Okay, it's going to make them explode. And I think because of all these assumptions, I almost feel like they assume the worst. Okay, they assume the worst about you. And now what I think they're feeling, or what they're seeing, is this completely different person on social media, maybe than what they knew before, right? So that's maybe why they're feeling like even more of an ass. Okay, so are they naughty or nice? We got the Crow. I'm going to say Eric's got a little work to do here. There's some retaliation here. There's something went wrong, okay, with this person. And they could have left you to die. They could have beat you up. They could have, been the bully in your life. And now they could have been a bully to you, okay? So above the surface, above it all, what are we going to get? I told you. Didn't I say the word retaliation? And I thought of this card, and look what it says on the bottom, retaliation. That's the Sons of Anarchy right there. And, I got my sister watching it a few months ago, and I think last winter, I think when she wasn't working, I got her watching it. And I came home from work one day. We were just talking about this, and she was like, it's about retaliation. I go, what? And she goes, everything we're doing right now, we are retaliating. It's retaliation and it's time. And I'm like, okay, so the Sons of Anarchy clearly got into you. I mean, I've been watching it for years. She's never seen it. I know about this shit. I've been, maybe on the, my sister and I have not lived the same lives, and I have had very different jobs than her, and we have very different life lessons. Even though we've lived together and hung out together for years, it doesn't mean that we have walked the same path. We walked very different paths. Our paths just happen to, coincide with one another, so we are with each other most of the time. Okay, so what's visible? Oh my God. I just watched The Blair Witch last night. I actually got to fix this card, but I'm still working on this deck, so don't get set on any cards looking a certain way. But last night we watched the Blair Witch Project, which, I watched it a million times, but every time the Blair comes in, I really want to know what she's saying. And she told me last night, I believe in my dreams, that she was ready to fuck shit up. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm going to go scare some people. And I'm like, you can go scare whoever you want, because I've been scared of you for years, so don't worry. I believe you. Okay, what's hiding under this guilt trip? I almost feel like these people left you to die, somebody could have used witchcraft. And as I said witchcraft in my head, look at all that came out. Okay, look at this. Fought tooth and nail is the answer. Okay, to the old switch around with the scarecrow and evil distractions. Look at this. This is fucked. So these people who guilt tripped you, they distracted you with fear. Like I said, I've been scared of the Blair Witch my whole life because my parents have been, the Blair Witch. They were the original Blair Witches. They were the original ones that were chasing me around the house and scaring me and, wanting to kill me. So, look at holy fuck. So this guilt trip, okay, my parents were so awful that, we could have died at any point, and I don't even think they really would have fucking noticed. Okay, so the old switch around with the Book of Answers fought tooth and nail. I feel like these people from the past, okay, that we're bringing up, Spirit wants to talk about today, they switched a path with you. They switched a path line with you, okay, and they really made you work hard while scaring the shit out of you the entire time. So, I think you have been quite poor. And the reason why you're poor is because that's an evil distraction that you have no money, right? So it's constantly scaring you. They wanted, I think your prophecy was to be money. I'm looking at this marijuana leaf. I haven't made the money card yet. I'm going to make it today. And I'm like, man, I really wish I had that money card because I bet you it would have came out. Why else would somebody switch a lifeline with you, if they weren't going to physically get something out of it, which is usually comfort, which what does comfort come with? Money. It all stems from money, right? They're not going to swap a life with you if you're poor, right? They can't get a yacht off of that. Okay. So, below everything, in the present energy, we've got suppressed emotions. So no wonder you really are trying to, I don't even know if it's you seeking retaliation as much as it is the fucking universe for you. Eventually people step in and go you can't be treated like this anymore. You realize this, right? When you're good, okay, overcomes the evil that is being done to you for just no reason. Because somebody watched the Blair Witch Project? I mean, honestly, so they physically wanted to stress you out and freak you out all the time by keeping you in a very low income, is what I heard. Low income family. Okay. So what is Santa bringing this person? So I redid the Mothman prophecies card because I just wasn't impressed with it. Neither was the Mothman. And this is how I've changed it. So I actually put the bridge there. That's his prophecy, where everybody else, well, I mean, the main guy, right? Richard Gere, he thinks it's going to happen in the chemical plant. So I actually put the chemical plant up here under this translucent kind of moon, right? Because of illusions, when really the prophecy was what he became a part of on the bridge, but he was supposed to be there to save number 37. Okay. So, honestly, I feel like what Santa is bringing them is a death sentence. And like, I don't want to say that because I don't just want to be the reaper of death, but that's what Ingrid Kroll does. She comes to warn you about things to come. Whether you accept that as a warning or not is you. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people who decide to fuck with energy and manipulate energy, right? They get death threats all the time, and they never take them seriously until that day where Spirit's been trying to tell them, trying to communicate with them, don't do this, don't do that, like, don't get on the train today, don't do this, like, I'm trying to get you sick, I'm trying to get you to stay home, right? And they go anyways. They fight it, right? They fight their own symptoms, they fight their own heart, they fight their own third eye, right? And even though they've gotten the download, they've gotten the premonition, they know something is going to happen, they just don't care. There are people who care about death prophecies and people who don't. And the people who don't, they think, and I believe that they believe that they're going to live forever. Right? Because nobody can kill them. Nobody can end them. They're going to live forever. Fuck you. Like, I believe that those arrogant people, they get those death curses the worst. And they're the ones that fight it a lot, right? Where other people, they see the warning and they back off and they don't go. Okay, so whatever Spirit is like really wanting to talk to you about today is that somebody is physically trying to hide the truth, and it's time for retaliation. It's time because their assumptions and their suppressed emotions are now ready to explode because of how much this hidden truth affected you and distracted your life. You didn't need, like, there were fears put into you probably at a very young age that you did, that were not on you. No child should ever bear that cross. But your parent was so arrogant that he didn't want to bear it alone. So he's going to tell you about every bill, everything he can't pay, every time he's got to go to work. Because he's going to let you know that by you being here, it's costing him money. It's costing him money. So they really distracted you with a lot. And I think they made you, it was probably one of those things, they made you fight a lot harder than what you needed to, right? That kind of tough love. I almost feel like maybe I should do a tough love card. I mean, I absolutely hate that because tough love is the code word for hatred. Right? Because tough love, to show true tough love, is to finally, not allow somebody's narcissism to control your life. So you put a boundary up. That's what tough love is supposed to be. Just a simple boundary, okay? Just a simple boundary of somebody who's taking advantage of something daily or weekly, okay? When people practice tough love because they just are sick of helping you, there's a huge difference, right? Because people need help. Nobody does this life alone. Nobody. And anybody who tells you they did it all by themselves is lying, because they got help from the bank to get loans. They got help from strangers to co-sign and to get jobs and to get paychecks. They had help from the universe. Nobody has done it alone. The only people who are doing it alone are Bigfoot in the forest. They're the only ones that are doing it alone. Okay. Everybody else relies on something to keep their fucking ship afloat, keep their life going. Okay. So I believe that tough love has forced this person to not really even love themselves. Right. And that should be the cost of it. You chose to hurt people and call it something. And now we have proven that you even do the same to yourself. So that is what Spirit wanted to talk about today. Look at that. On the top of the deck, a girl and the ghost beside her. So this is me and the ghost that always walked beside me. Okay. And the reason why I did this card is because if I didn't have this entity beside me since the day I was born, I wouldn't be alive. Because there are so many things that Whitney did in her life that she should have died. And she didn't. I don't know how she fucking made it alive. This entity showed himself to me one time when I was in high school, and high school was the absolute worst for me. It was the worst depression, the worst wanting to die, not even really wanting to live anymore. Like when I was 16, my one of my best friends killed herself. And that was like my answer all of a sudden. Like that was my answer. Like that was what I was going to do. I did not want to be here anymore. And for some reason I kicked it through. I don't really know how. I made it through. And when I was when I was outside of my high school this one day, I didn't fucking pay attention to anything. I really didn't. And I was going across the road, and I obviously didn't look both ways because I didn't see this huge giant car that was about to run me over. And I took a step onto the road and something behind me pulled me back, which is the ghost that's always been with me. He appeared as a person in that second because I saw somebody, but nobody was there. So he pulls me back. He goes, "Hey," and he pulled me back. I woke up kindly and turned around, and there was a huge field in front of my school. There was nowhere for this person to hide, and nobody was there. So I know it was the ghost that was always beside me. He just appeared that day. He came in physical form for that 1 second. He pulled me back, saved my life. And that's not just the only time that this thing has done things. That's just one time I can explain to you that things can save your life. But if you're not paying attention, if I hadn't heard him yell, "Hey," like if I had headphones on, or if I just would have been like, "Fuck you," and not had cared, he said, "Hey," as I was stepping, that made me turn around. And because I turned around, my foot went back as if he pulled me back. And then I turned back around because that's where my body was to then, see the car. And then I turned around to be like, "What the fuck? Thank you." And there was nobody there. Right. So there's a way that spirit can warn you about something, but I had to hear him. Right? Because there was nothing to see. And I don't think he physically touched me, but I think his reaction behind me made me turn around, lift my foot up, go the other way at that exact second that the car went by. Okay, so there, and look at, they just sitting side by side, because that's kind of the thing is spirit can warn you. They can tell you about a lot of things, and you could read it really wrong, right? You can read it wrong. You can read it as a warning for somebody else. When someone's trying to tell you this warning is for somebody else, it's not for you. So I almost feel like there's a warning out there for somebody that's been scaring you. Okay. They've been scaring you, and they've been hiding their feelings for you for a very long time. And we never know why people do that, why they suppress emotions, why they decide to hide, why they decide to hate their own children. Right. And a lot of parents, kids grow up and they don't realize why their parents hated them. And then they figure out, what mommy did or what daddy did. And then the other spouse decided to hate them because they found them in the room with them. And they found out they prefer children over their own wives and husbands, So a lot of resentment goes to the child, as if the child is trying to entice, the parent to do something. It's so honestly ridiculous, why a parent decides to suppress their emotions from their own child, right? That I will never understand, because I just don't want to. I don't want to understand why parents would do that. The only reason why I would feel like a parent would suppress their own emotions from their child is because they don't know how to love, or they're actually physically choosing not to love their child. They don't want to. right? I mean, to love something is a choice, right? You have to choose to love it. It doesn't tell you, hello, you have to love me because I'm loving you. It's supposed to be like an eternal bond of why you connect and love something, right? Okay, so what's the crow message for all the NDs here? Oh, we got quite a few. We've got soar. There it is with scavenge. I had a feeling this person really was keeping you in the poorhouse. Okay. And you kind of forgot what abundance was. And Spirit wants to remind you, like, you've lived a very poverty-ridden life. And now they're exposing that these people put you in another spot. Okay. They did not, I don't think they really considered you on their team. They didn't consider you part of their family. They didn't consider you, you know, to be a part of the house. Really, they left you very exposed. When you were scavenging for this food, when you were trying to make money, this left you exposed to be hurt, right? And you never really quite remembered that you were a bird, you know, that you're supposed to fly, you're supposed to soar, you're supposed to, you know, enjoy life, this abundant life that was supposed to be for you. And really, I think they really blocked it from you, and they tried to make you forget. But what people don't understand is that things hold memory. Crows hold memory. And now I watched this documentary on how water holds memory. Okay, everything holds memory if it's alive. Okay. And we have to remember that, because for the ones who try to, you know, make us erase things and forget things, that's only a matter that's only buying them time. That's it. It's only buying them time. To forget something is just, these people, a lot of these people that we're dealing with are on borrowed time. Something saved their life. And it shouldn't have, but it was, you know, medical, or, you know, it was a transplant, or which would have been medical, or it was, you know, just a blind miracle, really, right? That they stayed alive, during these life-threatening phases, and they're only on borrowed time because of you, because you gave them the gift of life, and they don't realize it. Right. So they're going to have a pretty big price to pay to take an abundance away from you, and to have you start scavenging for food. Like, there was no reason for you to be scavenging for food when there was a whole shit ton of food right here. Why were you digging in empty, dirty cans? Well, they have all this fish in front of them, this abundant amount of fish that they can just take. Right. Like, why? Because of this. Because they could do it. They could put you on the other side. They could divide you. I don't know how, but that's how people are, you know, like that's how petty they are. They'll put their own family on the outside of the circle. So, and people will have to deal with that. They'll have to deal with that however way karma says for them to deal with it. We got 44, 46, and 49. 1, 17, and 29 for whoever wants those numbers. So these people are going to have a little bit of price to pay. So with that said, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, if it doesn't resonate, don't worry about it. Okay, it's not going to resonate for everybody. And just know, if you want a personal reading, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. Okay, we can set up your holiday reading. Whoopsies, I just bent that card. And yeah, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It's entertainment purposes only. You know that. Always remember that. Okay, so if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't, don't stress out. And I will see you soon for another holiday reading. Be good.